run the city. We run the team.
What's good, y'all? Dopestology, we back. Dopest Melanin, my host, the beautiful one. We in here.
Hey, y'all.
I'm excited, love. I'm excited. We back on this thing.
We're excited.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited. It's been a while. Dopestology with yours truly, King Dopest and Dopest Melanin. What we talking about today?
The circle.
The circle. I love the circle. This season 4 of the circle, if y'all didn't know. Melanin, can you please tell our watchers and viewers at home what the circle is about?
The circle is a social media experience. It is a game that is played amongst players that come into a house and has the option to either play themselves or to be a catfish. In the game, they can either choose to strategically play the game or play with their heart and see how far that gets them for a prize to win of $150,000.
$150,000. Okay. So we're gonna get to know about some of the contestants on the circle. We're gonna meet them individually, one by one, real quick, and give you their name. First up, first in the house, the biggest guy, the biggest personality, my man Frank.
Everybody loves Frank.
We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that going forward. Frank, and then we have Brew. Brew is also another larger than life personality on the show. Next up we have the cutie pie herself, Alyssa, who I really enjoyed this season. How she played the game. I really did. Next up we have Krista, the Harlem Globetrotter. This was she also has a huge social media following. So much so my 10-year-old daughter walked through the house and said, I know her. She plays for the Harlem Globetrotters. I said, wow. I didn't even know that. So shout out to Krista. Next up we have Parker, aka Paul, because she played as a catfish. She played her father, Paul, and we're going to discuss that in some detail in a minute. And then we have John. And who did John play, Melanin?
Mama Carol.
Mama Carol, his wonderful mother. Okay.
His wonderful mother.
Then we had the smallest person in the house. But I don't think anybody packed as big a punch as Yuling. Yuling, she came to play. She definitely came to play. And then we have, those are all the beginning contestants. And we're going to start to talk about the people they added on as the show went along. First up was Nathan, played by Alex. Yeah, he played as a catfish. He was Nathan. Yeah.
He surprised me, but we'll get into it. He definitely surprised me.
And then we had Rachel, who played herself. Rachel, she brought a lot to the game. She shook it up.
Definitely.
Then we have another big. This season of The Circle, I think, had the biggest personalities. Everson being one of them. He was one of the last additions, along with Trevor. Trevor played a catfish, a friend of his wife's, Amani. And the interesting thing about Trevor is his wife was a previous winner of The Circle. And she played who?
Trevor.
She played him. So now he's come back to the show as a catfish. And last but not least, they were added into the show around the time of Rachel and Nathan. You have the Spice Girls. Scary Spice, right? And Baby Spice.
Scary Spice and Baby Spice.
And so these are all the contestants of this season, season 4 of The Circle on Netflix. And we're going to kind of get into how did you feel when everybody came into the house? Like, who immediately maybe were you drawn to when all the beginning contestants entered the show?
Definitely right off the bat, Frank was a huge, larger than life personality.
Mm-hmm.
When he came in, from the way that he spoke, he dressed, I was like, okay, he's definitely living out loud, and I love it. Definitely. So he was definitely one of my favorites. Um, I would have to say I was a little shocked.
Mm-hmm.
Yuling, she
You
was
lean.
also an original, and she kind of grew on me in the beginning. Wasn't quite sure how she was gonna play the game, but throughout she kind of grew on me.
Now I'm gonna be honest. Yuling, I don't know how that happened, but Yuling was one of my favorites. I thoroughly enjoyed her on this season. Um, but in the beginning, she was one of my early favorites in the house. Her energy, her profile pictures. I was like, man, this girl is doing everything right to win. So I'm definitely gonna go with you, Frank. There is no way. I'm gonna be honest. When Frank he first came in, I was like, oh, okay, this dude, he's got some spunk. He's very uplifting and high energy, and uh, but I wasn't really sold on if that's really was gonna be him throughout. So in the beginning, I was kind of reserved when it came to Frank. I kind of wanted to see how he played the game. My favorite coming right out the box was Brew.
Brew,
Yeah, my favorite right out the box was Brew. Brew just, I mean, he just seemed so, quick witted. Like he had a response for everything that was pretty funny. Um, and he kind of, there was a few people in the beginning that felt like he was a catfish, but that kind of dissipated like pretty fast because you could kind of feel sometimes when you're watching this show, you can some of the people you can feel them through the screen, like their sincerity, whether
true.
they're real or not. Um, there was another player early on that didn't have that luck of convincing people they were who they said they were, and that was Parker,
Parker.
aka her father, Paul.
I'll
Now,
be honest.
yeah,
I kind of knew that this was not gonna last. I hate that she went first.
yeah,
But she should have just played herself. I think she would have had a better chance
way
at
better
winning the
chance.
game by playing herself. By playing her father. I think that people were the other players were able to really pick apart the things that she said, and they
Hmm.
called her out on it, and ultimately it cost her the game.
Yeah, I don't think anybody like right out the gate believed her.
Nah,
First and foremost, because she didn't do enough research and preparation on what a 50-year-old. I think her father was 50. What a
56,
50-year-old.
I believe.
Yeah, yeah. On what somebody in that age group listens to the music of the time or anything from his era. She was not prepared at all. Um,
Yeah,
I think
the
there was
way
a
that
reference.
she was texting and she was
Yeah,
chatting with
yeah,
the other players, it kind of gave it away like
yeah. She was
early
trying
on.
too hard and didn't have enough information. So they caught on to her really quick. And she was the first one sent home. First vote, she was distraught to not have even been there long. I mean, it seems like so long ago, but it was only a few weeks ago. But
It's only a few weeks.
it was only a few weeks
Okay.
ago.
We talked about who we like. Like, who came in the house and
Mhm.
really, really shook it up? Like, who surprised you? That's the question. Who surprised you this season?
Out of the whole season,
The whole season.
who came in the house and shook it up? I'm gonna have to go with Rachel. I'm gonna have to go with Rachel because I thought coming
Okay.
in, um, Rachel didn't have much of a shot as far as you know, making it because she came in late. And normally when you come in late, you have to like make a splash. But she was very intent on in the beginning on making not only allies, but she didn't mind ruffling a couple of feathers along the way. Like, so I would have to go with, I'm gonna keep it real though. Both of these players that came in were both,
Yes.
I disliked him the most by far. Nathan was my least favorite character of the season. Um,
I'm
not because he,
shocked.
yeah,
He
not because
totally
he didn't
shocked
play.
me.
Yeah, he shocked me too. And it wasn't that he didn't play it. He played an excellent game up to where we're at now. However, um his tactics I want to say were a little bit suspect. He did some hurtful type of things. He was one of the first players that I ever saw like really go out of his way to like create lies and cause chaos and commotion within the Circle family. Um, but it worked for him.
It worked. He
It
played the
worked.
game. It's all a game.
Right. So we talked about um Parker going home first. Were you surprised that Krissa went home?
Oh no. I want to cry for Krissa. Krissa was my second favorite. Next to Frank, Krissa was my next favorite player, and I was totally shocked. Totally, I was heartbroken. I mean, you would have thought I was a player on the circle. I really was really hurt that she went home. Definitely living her truth.
Mhm.
She played with her heart.
She did.
She didn't play to deceive any other players. She actually was building friendships and bonds within the game.
Right.
Um, but it didn't get her very far.
Right. She was the second one eliminated this season, season 4 on the circle, and she was distraught. I do. That's the one thing I'm gonna take from her when she got sent packing was she was visibly distraught. And
And she didn't see it coming because she was
yeah,
also a favorite amongst the circle. So
yeah,
that was kind of shocking to see
yeah.
how the
Everybody did
voting
like
worked.
yeah, they seemed to have, I didn't really remember anybody having anything bad to say
Yeah.
about Krissa. Okay, okay, okay. Um, let me see who else. Okay, so then we had Scary and Baby Spice come into the house and they played a catfish. They played a young dude named Jared, who was a young guy, and they killed it. I'm not gonna lie. Nobody really, I think maybe one player had suspicions of them being a catfish, but for the most
Yeah.
part, those two worked in tandem so, and they were fun to watch. They were really fun to
They
watch.
were fun to watch, but they almost got caught a couple times. So
Yeah, they did almost get caught.
oftentimes two heads are better than one to kind of help you get it together because
Yeah, I
they
think
could have been
Nathan,
bad
I think
individually.
wasn't it Nathan? I think Nathan was the one that really had his eye on Jared as maybe being a catfish.
Yeah.
Um, but if they were unable, them being on the show, was only kind of like
An
a
added benefit to the other
added
players.
benefit and a distraction because they weren't there to play throughout. They were just there to see if they could help increase the overall pot winnings for the contestants. So it went from 100,000 to 150,000. based on what was it that they didn't get found out or they got found out?
If they didn't get found out, the prize would increase to 150,000.
Yeah, so they didn't get found out, and they actually the one of the fun parts of it was that they had like a dance night or party night where the theme music for the dance night was the Spice Girls, and it was crazy because the Spice Girls had some huge fans amongst the contestants, primarily Rachel, and was there somebody else? I know Rachel was like uh the hugest fan, and Alyssa was also a fan as well. So we're
Yeah.
gonna move on, and this is where things really got shook up. It was one of my most upsetting moments of this season, and that's when my girl, who I really thought was gonna win, got booted from the house. She was next.
She was
Um,
next.
she was next. Alyssa. Um,
Alyssa came in playing the game. I would say that. That's one thing I can say. She definitely came in the door playing the game. Like she was taking her notes.
mhm.
Um, she was, making sure that, her stories were adding up and also cross referencing what others were saying. So she definitely was in it for the game.
Right. And one of the things that they added in on the circle this season, they had they got hacked. So there was a cyber hack, and you were allowed to give one person antivirus, and it was kind of like a chain reaction. One person gave it to one person until they were down um to just two people. And let's talk about the alliances now. You had Alyssa was in an alliance with Brew.
True.
She was also in an alliance with Yu Ling. And so when it came down to this antivirus and this hack, Alyssa was pretty sure she was gonna be safe because she figured either Yu Ling or Brew would pass her the antivirus. And that did not happen.
That didn't happen.
Yu Ling went
Trust
all the
no one.
yeah,
Okay. Trust
right,
no
right,
one.
right. Yu Ling uh was the first to shake things up by selecting Rachel, she had no alliance with, who was a newer player, and
I'll be honest. I'll be
mhm,
the first to say I thought Rachel would have went home
yeah,
earlier, but she
yeah,
made it. She surprised me. She came
yeah, she
through
surprised me
and
too.
definitely built some strong alliances within the circle.
So then it was left upon Brew to save Alyssa, and Brew had to choose between saving Alyssa or Mama Carol, played by John, who he had a stronger connection with. He called, and the funny thing is, Brew was convinced that Mama Carol was a
Was a
catfish,
catfish.
but he didn't care. He just knew he had an alliance in Mama Carol. So when it came time to him to choose between Mama Carol and Alyssa, with whoever not being picked going home, he chose Mama Carol.
He chose Mama Carol.
And it sent Alyssa surprisingly home. And she was obviously upset. She felt she had been backstabbed. And she chose to go see Brew on her way out. And he explained why, and she understood. However, her fury was directed at Yu Ling. Like that was one of the most upsetting parts because it's like, why would you do that to her? Why would you do that to her? So that
Uh,
the antivirus hack thing, the circle being hacked, it was a heck of a twist to the game. I thought the Spice Girls was a heck of a twist, but that
that
virus,
really shook it up.
it shook things up. It really
But you
did.
know what? I'm glad it did because it brought out the true feelings about how the players felt about one another.
It did. It did.
It was
It
definitely
sure
a
did.
turning point. Definitely a
It sure
turning
did.
point.
So then moving forward, um I think one of my favorite parts on the whole season, um well, they both included Frank. Put Frank's picture back up here. They both included Frank. When Frank told Brew about both of his parents passing away, and then later on when he told the entire circle about his parents passing away and his grandparents, and that was a
It
pretty
really touched.
emotional.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
really
that was an
emotional.
emotional scene right there.
That one definitely touched home for me. So I couldn't imagine playing the game and dealing with all of that right before coming to the circle.
Yeah, he lost a
Um,
grandparent right before he. Yeah, right before he came to
right
the circle.
before coming to the circle. So, and
Hmm.
you know, and losing your parents. So it was, he definitely was dealing with a lot. And he didn't allow it to um really change his, you know, his personality. He was still who he was. He still lived openly, truly. Um,
Hmm.
he was just a great player. Great player.
Yeah, and like I said, he was a happy guy. You would have never been able to tell, but he used those tragedies to let him realize how important each day was. And I think he said something along those lines at one point. And
He did.
if you didn't love Frank before that moment, I'm gonna be honest. Uh,
You're not
something's wrong
human.
with you. Yeah, you're not human. You're
You're
not
not
human.
human.
So moving along, um, the next person eliminated didn't come as a shock to me, but I kept saying, man, they keep hanging on so long and so long, so long, so long. John, who played his mother, Carol, again,
Carol.
uh, everybody in the house knew it was a catfish. Everybody. I don't think there was anybody that didn't have a question. But and here's the thing: he did all the research. He didn't really mess up to where like, oh, he gave it away. It was just something about it because he did his research. He had all the right music and certain things. And the funny part of this season was when he did ask Alyssa, who was a sex educator's assistant, to give him some tips for he's playing his mom and he's like asking to help spice up the sex life with his dad, but he's playing his mom. It was totally weird. It was uh
Uncomfortable.
it was totally uncomfortable. Even for the viewers at home, it was uncomfortable for me, for sure.
Definitely,
But
definitely.
then later on we had Everson and Trevor playing a catfish, Imani. They came in the house. Everson and Imani, they shook it up. I think Everson more so maybe as far, I really don't know. I think it was maybe about even. But they knew not to ruffle. They didn't ruffle any feathers. That's the one
Yeah.
thing when you're the last couple people in the circle, like you kind of want to get on everybody's good side. I think they both did a great job of that. What do you think?
They definitely did. And the circle, everyone knows the circle is always, you know, alerts and thorns,
Mhm.
you know, different things in the game. Coming in, they had to choose. They had
Yeah,
to choose which party to attend,
yeah,
with which players. And that really, really, that was their entrance as to, you
yeah.
know, them coming into the circle and actually, you know, getting along with everyone else.
Everybody else. I
Everyone
think,
else.
yeah, I think that gave Imani a little bit of an advantage early on, but Everson, because of his, like I said, outgoing personality, he's a jokester, likes to crack jokes. I think he won over a lot of people. So that leads us to the final person that got blocked on the last episode. However, we don't know who that person is that was blocked. It came down to Everson, and Nathan. So we're gonna find out on the season finale who was blocked, and we're gonna actually find out who the finalists are for the $150,000. So there's one more blocking to come. I wasn't really thrilled with that. Like, I'm like, at least let's go into the last show knowing who the final players are. But they did add a little bit of drama and suspense. Who do you think it is between those two?
I hope it's Everson. I really, really hope that it's Everson.
They get
Um,
sent home or
that gets to stay. No, 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 no.
oh, okay. So you
I
want
want
Nate?
Everson to stay, and I would like
Okay.
for Nathan to be blocked.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
I'm in agreement.
especially after finding out how much of a player he was, kind of playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really want Everson to really win.
I'm in a complete agreement with that. Like I said, Nathan played the game. He's playing it to win. However, I feel like at certain times he kind of crossed the line with with the lies, because it's not really necessary to play the game, and but it's a game, so I understand that part. However, it's for those reasons I would prefer he went home instead of Everson. So that brings us to um the finale. On a count of three, I want you to tell me who you want to win the finale of the season 4 of The Circle on Netflix. 1, 2, 3. Frank.
Frank.
Yeah, I knew we were gonna be in agreement on that.
Frank. Yes, I want Frank to win it. Oh my God, Frank is an amazing player, and he did not deceive,
Oh, we skipped
lie.
one. We skipped one. We skipped Brew.
Oh yeah,
Brew
yeah, yeah.
got blocked. We
Brew
definitely
got
skipped
blocked.
Brew getting blocked. Is the way they did it, it was so crazy. First of all, the way that they blocked Brew, I almost forgot he got blocked. You know what I
I believe
mean?
that episode 2 people got blocked, so he was the
Yeah,
second
so
one
that's
to
why I
get
kind of
blocked.
forgot. Brew got blocked. I couldn't believe it. I for real thought Brew was gonna make it to the end. I did. I thought Brew was gonna at least make it to the finale. Uh, However, I did believe like Frank was gonna win, especially based on his story. When it comes down to people making their final ratings, I believe like his story, the way he played the game, he didn't play the game. He just was honest. Like the whole season, he was just honest, being
Honest.
himself. That kind
I
of
definitely, yeah, that definitely hurt him a little bit.
mhm.
He was too nice sometimes, especially with Mama Carol.
Yeah,
Um, it was kind of like he just kind of strung him along just to have a friend.
I just think with the options that are left, like it's honestly gonna come down between Yu Ling and Frank. It's just how I feel. Yu Ling has been influencer, I don't know, like 2 or 3 times this season. Um, Even though like a lot of people were mad at her when Alyssa got um blocked, but she won an influencer again after that.
The very
So
next week, yep.
she bounced back well from that, even repairing somewhat her relationship with Brew that was kind of like damaged prior to that. But I literally almost forgot Brew even got blocked off the circle. I'm gonna keep it real,
Yeah,
y'all. I forgot Brew got even blocked off the circle because I knew he was a guaranteed cinch to be in the final group of contestants.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
we
And
will be back.
Krista really, really shook it up. But when she got blocked,
Oh
that
yeah,
conversation of her Yuling going to see, Brew going to see Yuling,
yeah,
Krista going to see Yuling, that really, really, really changed her mind at that point. She really started playing the game.
yeah. That Krista. Ooh, I'm
Krista, she
surprised she
definitely
went
would
out
have been
there.
in the finals.
Yeah, if she would have got past that, I believe that blocking right there. If it would have been somebody else, she probably would have had more time to build those alliances. But that's where we at. The Circle season 4 finale. What day is it on?
Wednesday, guys.
Wednesday on Netflix. So look for us to have a reaction to that either Wednesday or Thursday. Please let us know what you think about this season of The Circle on Netflix in the comments below. Hit that subscription button. This is our first Dopestology back on the scene. And it's only fitting that we cover the show that we both enjoy so much. I thank you, Dopest Melanin, for being my co-host.
Thank you for having me.
And to everybody else, until next time, one love or no love. Nothing has changed. You know what I mean? So I appreciate everything that y'all do for me on this channel. And we'll be back with some great content next time.
We run the city, we run the town.